Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all back to the show, reminding you guys, look, check us out on the Verbal Pick Radio YouTube channel. Check out the videos, like and subscribe. And a lot of times, what we do here on Verbal Pick Radio is also played back on YouTube. Now, I want to remind you all that this show tackles issues in a way that you may not have heard on any other show because this show is unique. We're not in it for likes and whatnot. No, we're in it just to give information and give a viewpoint that's unlike any other radio show that you've heard. And sometimes that frightens people. Sometimes it frustrates people. Sometimes it even stresses people out because they have to think in a different way than what they've been taught. They have to open their minds up. They have to use their critical thinking skills. And sometimes when you just sit in your ways, but you hear something that challenges that, sometimes people don't know how to handle it. So it is what it is, but we're going to keep doing what we're doing, right? And y'all make sure y'all get ready for EDP 2. Everyday People, the movie part 2, the sequel. It's definitely going down. Now let's as Brother Halim Muhammad would say, let's connect the dots, right? Explain to you all what's going on, right? Because the universe knows what it's doing. Some events and some things that are taking place is beyond the control of man, right? Man had no hand in navigating the course that we're currently on, right? He had the COVID vaccine, people in the house, right? Couldn't get out, frustrated. Then all of a sudden, you saw this brutal image of a white guy with a knee on a black man's neck that choked him until he died, right? It was inhumane, right? But why? Why did he do it, and why did he even feel like he can get away with it? One is because he didn't see him as a human, right? And two, he's hoping that the case will come out that why did you choke an American black man to death on the streets in Minneapolis, right? Because now the case will prove that he's an American. Did he come on the Nina or the Pink or the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria? In some circles, they're saying, well, those are only Americans we recognize. Right? So it'd be better or best to say, how could you choke a human? Human rights, like what Malcolm X was fighting for. Human rights. Don't deny me the rights of a human, the right to know and the right to be, right? That's why you would see white folks with those flags saying, don't tread on me. You don't tread on humans. Now, if you call yourself Negro, African American, American, or whatnot, then sometimes you leave things up for interpretation because these words get tricky, right? So let's get into it. COVID's going on. Derek Chauvin puts a knee in George Floyd's neck, right? The 24th comes out on Hulu about the Camp Logan incident that took place where? In Houston, Texas, right? And once again, that Camp Logan is when black people or black soldiers, members of the army, got their weapons, went into downtown Houston, and was killing every white person they could lay their eyes on, right? Because they couldn't take that racism and that harsh treatment that they were receiving, because some of them fought in the Philippines, some of them as soldiers had traveled overseas. They come back to the States, and in their hearts and mind, they thought that they would be well received because of, the soldiers. They're here to protect American citizens. But all they got was called the N-word. They peed on one of them. And think about it. They pissed on the black soldier's head, right? White guy standing on top of the roof. I guess he's doing some work, whatever. Black soldiers down there eating his food, and dude peed on him, right? Just like they pissed in the Capitol building on January the 6th. And this is nothing new, right? The actions of these groups of people, i.e., what name is savage colonizers? I don't know the name, but we know, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Those acts are seen, they're okayed in certain circles, certain communities, right? Because in their mind or in their hearts of hearts, they still won't see equality amongst both races. That's why in the movie William Boston stated, well, I couldn't shoot him because when I looked at him, I saw a man, but when he looked at me, he didn't see a man. Now we're dealing with mindsets, right? So they get the guns, go downtown Houston again, right? And kill, over 33 whites. Now, they still mad about that, even though this happened in 1917. Still mad about that. You don't know who's researching whose histories and found out who was related to who down the line, who was killed by black people. But here's Derek Chauvin. Almost like he's seeking revenge for what took place in Camp Logan. I don't know. But he puts his knee in the neck of this gentle giant that they call him, till he choked him out. Even put his hand in his pocket to apply more pressure. And then the sick bastard looked like he was enjoying it. Bam. Now you say, for those who watched it, was saying, wow, what type of man is this? Right? Who would do such a thing? Wait, who's the savage? So conversation started brewing, right? Wait a minute. For years, the colonizer, the Caucasian, the white man, the slave master, whatever you want to call it, for years, he was like, the Native Americans, they're savages. The Mexicans, they're savages. The black people, they're savages, right? But then you turn on the news, school shootings, killings, the savage way George Floyd died, the savagery that took place in the Capitol building. It's like, wait a minute, dude. We let them label us, but really, they're the savages. Look at the acts. Look at how they coming out saying that the number one threat to America is domestic terrorism. Okay, so let's get back into it. So that took place. George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, knee on his neck. George Floyd from Houston, Camp Logan, Houston, 1917. Black folks go out and tear it up, right? They mad, upset, right? And so now here we are getting ready for the trial, right? The trial of George Floyd, right? Now y'all gotta check this out. Right? Let me just give y'all a little up to date on it, and we can keep rolling, right? Give y'all an update on the trial, right? So far, 5 jurors have been selected in the trial of Derek Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer charged in the death of George Floyd. Jury selection began on Tuesday morning at the Hennepin County Courthouse in downtown Minneapolis, a day later than scheduled, and continued Wednesday before court recessed for the day. Judge Peter Cahill had been forging ahead despite looming appeals over the prosecution's bid to reinstate a third-degree murder charge against Chauvin. They moved it out the way. They said, how you take reinstate it? We're not reinstating it. Okay, cool. Wednesday, however, the Minnesota Supreme Court denied Chauvin's petition for review, punting the issue back to Cahill. Cahill was expected to address possible reinstating the charge Thursday morning before resuming jury selection, right? Floyd's May 2020 killing drew outrage in a worldwide reckoning on police reform and racial justice. Defund the police. Why? Because it showed you that when the incident took place in the Capitol building January 6th, some of the police was involved. There's how can I say? See, they got to go after they got to go after a bunch of the ones that caused the insurrection who was on video. They got to get them. Because they have to prove that they're trying to do something to bring back integrity to the police officers or to the order of police or just the policing period. They have to bring some type of integrity back. So they got to show that they're doing something, man. Look, we arrested the man. We doing something. We trying. Right, okay. Now, since you trying, how do you mend the distrust of minorities, black and brown, and Asians, and minorities, period? How do you mend that distrust, and what plan are you putting forth that people can look at and say, okay, well, maybe that could work. When is it gonna be in effect, and how long do you think before it takes effect? Right? Questions got to be asked. See, black and brown people, you gotta ask questions. We gotta ask questions. We got to be in the know, because when you sit back and let them make all the decisions and you're not at the table, trust me, it's not coming out in your favor. That's just how the game go, right? Okay, so come on, check this out, right? Speaking to potential jurors, Cahill warned they shouldn't talk to anyone involved in the case and should refrain from searching for information about it online or posting about it on social media. He explained the concept of reasonable doubt, the legal standard prosecutors must meet to prove their case against Chauvin. Right? Hold on. Look, check this out. Reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt that in his mind, he's set to put a knee on George Floyd's neck to murder him. Now, first of all, when they had George Floyd up against the wall in the sidewalk area, could stop there. They had him in a vehicle. When they put him in the car, when Chauvin came, it was as tall as George Floyd is. There's several places he could have put his knee on, but they had him handcuffed. Could have rolled him over his stomach and put his knee in his back. Right? Could have rolled him on his side, put his knee on his leg. Could put his knee in his stomach, roll him over on his back and put his knee in his stomach. Chauvin decided on his own free will, I'm going to put my knee in George Floyd's neck. Right? Because we want to say reasonable doubt. So we breaking down reasonable doubt. Then he could have said, well, you know what? So since you put the knee on his neck, you could have said, you know what? I'm going to put my knee on his neck for just 30 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to put my knee on his neck for 2 minutes and then I'll get off, you know. Oh, over 8 minutes? Okay. So you meant to kill him, right? Yeah. That was in your mind. Then you said, well, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to put my hand in my pocket because if I do, it might cause more weight to be up on his neck and have him really struggling. Right. But he decided to put his hand in his pocket to apply pressure, which he did, because he had the intent, right? So the reasonable doubt is there. He had plenty of time to get up. He could have got up. He chose every action that he pursued came from his mind, and the result was what he intended it to be, and that was killing George Floyd, which he did. Right. Now, we getting right into, okay, so he explained the concept of reasonable doubt, the legal standard. Prosecutors must meet to prove their case against Chauvin, right? They gotta prove it. Okay, it shouldn't be hard. Who sat and this is Chauvin? He sat in the courtroom wearing a gray suit. Cahill also instructed potential jurors to keep their mask on and use social distancing practices. The jurors chosen Wednesday included, right, today, a black man who works as an information technology specialist, and a white man who said he would be willing to reschedule his May 1st wedding, right? He's not going to miss this. He got a purpose. I'm finna reschedule my May 1st wedding to be part of this jury selection. He said if need be to participate in a trial. Right. Okay, we're gonna touch base on that real quick. Something popped in my mind with the white guy, right? Now, two things taking place in white people's minds right now, right? One, damn it, we white, and we will not let a white man life be ruined in due time, an officer for killing a black man, right? Then the other whites are saying, look, man, my children don't want to grow up in a world and witness this brutal police killing that just took place. Hell, I had to send some to the counseling, a therapist, to seek some help because a child can't process that. Daddy, why this man just got his knee in this man's neck till he dies? Well, son, he's black and this cop white, and sometimes that happens. Well, why does it happen? This country is racist as fuck, so but enjoy your white privilege, right? Bullshit. It don't happen like that no more. Times is changing, and so some whites is like, look, man, before we go out to an all-out civil war, we got to get trash off the street. I can't get the same people who stormed the Capitol building or the same ones who are amening or standing behind Derek Chauvin, and we can't accept it. We got to remove that type of individual or that type of mindset out of this society, right? Okay. So that was the white man. Said, hey, he rescheduled if need be to participate in the trial. He won't attend his wedding May 1st. The lawyers are aiming to find jurors who say they can form an impartial opinion despite the massive amount of pretrial publicity the case has received. Wow. Okay. Tuesday, Cahill and defense attorney Eric Nelson questioned the first potential juror about what media coverage she had seen about the case. The juror, a mother of three, said she had seen a video, but said she would be willing to review all evidence. When asked about her initial opinion of the video, the potential juror described her reaction to seeing Chauvin restraining Floyd. That's not fair because we are humans, Wow. She was later excused from jury service. Well, she said that we are humans, you know. They moved her out of there. What? You saw George Floyd as a human, but you can't be on the jury pool. You got to get out of here. Right? You biased. Wait. How can I put this? This is 2021. There's so much knowledge, a vast knowledge and information that's out there to where it evolves a being. If you understand what I mean. Knowledge evolves you. And it's so easy accessible to where you're downloading knowledge whether you know it or not. So you are evolving, you're changing, your mindset changing, your outlook on life is changing. But those who are in the backwoods, those who still think it's 1600 or something, they don't understand that time is changing. They have no idea. So they still trying to judge current times with an old mind and don't realize that they're outdated. And it's not going to work. It's over. Now, the second potential juror questioned a white man who works as a chemist who was selected for the jury after questioning and instructed to report back for opening statements. The man said he had limited interactions with police, but did not have a personal negative viewpoint of the Minneapolis Police Department. I mean, this is laughable. The man said he had limited interaction with police. He's a chemist. A white man, of course you ain't had any limited interaction with police. They not pulling you over. They looking for black people. You got white privilege. So how can you even be on a jury? You don't understand what black folks go through dealing with the police. And said that he did not have a personal negative viewpoint of Minneapolis Police Department. Then he's unhuman. Every human that watched this man die at the knees of another man had a negative viewpoint. Can't put him on. He said he did not believe the criminal justice system as a whole was biased against people of color. The man said he had not seen the video of Floyd's death. Wait a minute. Now this thing been showing out. You damn sure don't want this under the rock, motherfucker, if he ain't seen this video as many times it was played all over the world. Look, the man said he had not seen the video of Floyd's death, but had seen a still image of Chauvin restraining Floyd. He called it restraining him. Hand in the pocket now. His hands wasn't on Floyd restraining him. His hand was in his pocket and his knee was on his neck. Wow. He said he has visited the intersection where Floyd was killed with his fiancée. They taking selfies and photos. Yeah, this the spot where we took out Floyd, I bet. It happened in my city. It was a transformative event for that area, and me and my fiance are thinking about moving near that area, so we wanted to visit. He said they want to move to the area. One potential juror, a white woman, was excused from service after she said she had strong opinions about the case and couldn't promise that she could be impartial. I hope for a specific outcome, and I don't know that would change, the woman said. Now, look, you kick her off the jury, but you leave a white man on the jury who got favorable views about police, but you would kick folks out the jury who got favorable views about black people. Wow. I mean, come on. Now let's get into it. So bottom line is, if Chauvin walks, right, what that says is that black lives don't matter. That's the rebuttal. We can take you out, kill you, while it's being videotaped, while citizens. See, the jurors were the ones who was there when Judge Floyd was being murdered, who was saying, hey, man, that's enough. He can't breathe. Get off his neck. What are you doing? Dude, God, you don't have no sympathy, empathy for a human being? What did he stop? Move. He steady applying pressure. Right? Now people say, well, why didn't people get involved and just stop the police officer, right? Well, should have been done because you would have been saving a life. But in America, we've grown so cold and callous towards police killings of black men to where don't nobody want to get involved because it's the norm. So they don't want to risk their life for something that they seen over and over and over again. Sad, man. It's a sad state of affairs. So they know that if Chauvin's not convicted, right, all over the globe, folks gonna erupt, right? And if that happens, they can't wait to come in with their guns and their tanks and finally use that adrenaline and emotions against black and brown and mow you down, right? So you asking, well, damn, what do we do? What's the next thing? How do we protect ourselves? How do we defend ourselves? How do we survive, right? And give you a little bit, right? Knowledge is power. The mind, especially for black and brown people, is powerful, man. I mean, you can actually tune in to your ancestors, their spirit and energy. The mind is powerful. You know? You can wish or want or bring things into existence that you like. Right? You can also banish things out of existence if you like. Out of your world, out of your society. All of ye are gods, children of the Most High God. That's what Jesus said. It's time to get off the dope. When I say get off the dope, I'm talking about the false hope, the when they sprinkle a little salt, a little sand on you, a little dust, and fake you out, and you falling for it, and oh, that's dead. You come on places and you put the little hump in your back and start singing Amazing Grace and all that, man. It's over, man. That's called non-productive. It serves no purpose. I know it well, and I take it back. It make you feel good, and that's fine. But these demons we dealing with, shit, they ain't worried about you feeling good. Their goal is to make your life as miserable and feel bad as they can muster up, and waiting for you to have a counter. You so smart, and that's them talking to black people. Yeah, black man and woman, y'all so smart. And yeah, y'all built the pyramids and had the first universities in Timbuktu, and we know about Mansa Musa and Mali and all the wars y'all fought and all that. We understand that, black man and woman, but you can't stop us, is what they saying. Fail to realize, hell, we can land that space rocket, had that black woman doing calculations for NASA. We do things like that, right? But we got stuck with a brute that only knows chaos and destruction, right? So that means then that where they placed us, meaning the periods of time where blacks were unable to read or write, right? They felt as though I'm finna put you in this bottle, I'm gonna place you right here, and I'm gonna throw away the lock and the key to who you are in your knowledge. And after that, I'm gonna use you as a tool because you got amnesia. You don't even know yourself, right? But little did he know that one would come with a supreme knowledge and who would know how to go in your inner being, crack the atoms in your mind, right, in your brain, and wake you up again. And get you to start moving and building and talking a different way, sounding a different way, going after it. Where the colonizers saying, okay, well, we got to stop this one. And God was giving them, God was making a way for that warner, that messenger to always be 5 or 10 steps ahead of them, to where they couldn't even figure out what's going on, right? What's happening, right? Because time is time. And that word or that message, when it's on time, and it starts like a avalanche, start off the snowball, and it start picking up more and moving a little faster and gaining more snow and getting bigger and getting bigger and getting until it's so big it's taking folks out, And then after the avalanche, the snowball was like, damn, I really didn't mean to create all that, but damn, I don't want to melt out here either. Wow, man. Hey, I'm just saying, man. It's wild. We going through it. A lot of information is out there, A lot of information on how to be the best you and deal with mental health. Why? Because we got to get into that part, then we can get on that, right? Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, Oprah interview, right, was a catalyst which was saying that, hey, it was really a call for unification, because black folks had been plagued with that skin color game for so long, which was non-productive, and that it was a big portion of why we couldn't unite. So the universe, God set it up to where the truth comes out about a mulatto named Meghan Markle, who we thought would be hobnogging and rubbing elbows with the Queen, but yet she's facing depression due to all the negative epithets and that was spewed at her. She couldn't believe it because her whole vision on how she thought it was 100% different when it hit reality. Right? She probably got called the N-word so many times, she done thought that was her name. That probably was the nickname they gave her. So the Queen makes a statement that she was unaware and they're going to address this issue, especially dealing with race. I believe she knew all along what was going on, and when it came out, it was damage control. But I'm not in that immediate circle. Being a journalist, you can you can move around, but there's levels to this thing. Let's put it like that. So now, after Megan's ordeal, people are in shock. Oprah in shock, and people saying, "Damn, you know what? It's justice time, right? So people want to see what's going on, man. Is this justice time? People want to actually be free to be themselves and not have to worry about being pulled over and killed and whatnot. And so it asks the question, well, what's the price for freedom? And each individual that listens to this show, whether you black or brown, that's one of the questions you got to ask yourself. You know, you got to find out. What can I say, man? I'm just, this 2021, this so many things that's been going down and taking place to the point to where I'm like, man, what's next? But I do know one thing though. Black folks has had their last of being treated as second-class citizens and murdered in the streets and just totally disregarded, though. Time is changing. Verbal Pick Radio. We're out.